So what is the library app? The library app will give us the capability for our audiences to discover, browse, and navigate through content through an app experience. They're able to leverage both offline and online capabilities, and as we mentioned, they're accessing those popular app stores including Apple and Android. So, giving you a very basic but technical explanation, we're not ditching our strategy for a web app. The web app is actually still very much the core of what's driving our library app. Rather, what we're doing is we're pulling in the native capabilities that we need to support the tool set that we want to add. That includes additional content beyond a single publication, as well as some of the offline capabilities we've already spoken about. What operating systems will this support? We've developed a library app to support both the iOS Apple Store, or App Store, as well as the Android Marketplace, and as well we have a desktop experience that will allow users to download an Adobe Air application that will allow offline reading. So now users would be able to take a laptop onto an airplane and read their content on the go. Today we're going to take a look specifically at the iOS platform. We're going to look at an Apple app that we've submitted for PowerBlock magazine. PowerBlock is located in the App Store, and simply by searching for PowerBlock you will bring up that publication. You can then download that publication as you would any other app. It will appear on your iPad home screen where you'll have a branded thumbnail image. All you have to do now is click on that button and the app will load. The app will default you first to the featured content section. Featured content is content which you as a publisher can set as the content you want to show as the latest and greatest content you have to offer. If you haven't set this in the admin options, we'll simply pull the latest issues to be uploaded. You then have the ability to select one of these options. When you select one of the thumbnails, you'll pull up that issue's homepage, still complemented on the left-hand side by a scrubber where you can access other featured content within the library app. But the key point here is we now have two options. One is to read online, the other is to download. If we choose to read online, we're going to still get a lot of those great web app technology features that we spoke about. As an example, if the user doesn't want to download the entire issue, but only wants to get an idea of what's inside, they can start by very quickly accessing that content through this option. When they do so, they'll have all the features such as rich media that they're used to in a web app strategy or desktop experience within their library app. They'll also have the capability to access widgets that you may have embedded, such as a social media feed like a Twitter feed, as well as other links and the alike. The other option, though, that they have from this issue home screen is the ability to download that specific issue. If they choose to download the issue, they'll first be greeted with an option as to whether or not they want to include media. This could include any video files or audio files that have been embedded inside the actual publication. If they choose yes in this case, it will then download that app. Once content has been downloaded, we start to look at the extra tab that we have at the bottom called My Content. My Content is going to feature any content that's been read online or downloaded for offline reading. The way to distinguish the two when looking at one of the thumbnails is this little folder icon in the top left-hand corner. The folder icon signifies that this issue has been downloaded for offline reading. When we load up that issue, we're going to still have that same similar look that we're used to within the web app solution. Only this time we're pulling the content from the device's storage rather than over the web. This will typically mean much faster load times than you may be used to with a 3G connection as an example. And will also give you that accessibility when you have no connection at all. Some things to keep in mind: certain video types will continue to stream here. If the video has been embedded in the issue through our system using the audio video upload option, that video will be seen. However, take as an example where we saw a Twitter feed before. That Twitter feed is streaming in live time from the web. As a result, something like that will not show up when we're reading in offline mode. Nevertheless, downloaded issues that are read with a connection will still allow that connectivity that you're used to within a web app or connected experience. The other tab that we have at the bottom is our search option. Let's say we wanted to search for content that's beyond the featured content or beyond content that I've already downloaded. If we're accessing other content within the library of content that you've put on this app, we simply use the search function. Simply tap on the button. We're going to bring up the option for you to type in any word. In this case, we're going to search for the word wheel. When we search for the word wheel, we're going to pull up any publications that include that content. You then have the ability to click on any of these and, just as before, read them online or download them for offline reading capability. The last tab, very importantly, is that we make sure that all of your users have an understanding of how the app will work. Very similar to the way I'm walking you through today, this will give the basics of how the solution works. A last point to keep in mind with the app is that all of the features of the app will work both in portrait and landscape mode. Simply tilting the screen of the iPad as you would with anything will simply adjust from a single page to double page spread, and similarly with other native capabilities such as the help menu. So that gives you a quick overview. I'm also going to give you a quick outline of some of the basics of how this all works. If you want to get started with a library app, you can contact us or simply fill out the form on our website. The website address is below for the library app as an example as to where you would go to fill in the information that we require to submit to Apple. Another question that we've gotten often is, what type of content can I actually put onto my device or onto my library app? You have three choices in determining where to map that content to pull from. If you have a master account with Magazines, you can pull all content that sits within all accounts, all titles, and all issues by tying it to the master account as the map. The second option is to tie it to a specific account. This will apply to many of our clients who have a direct pro account, as we refer to it with Magazines, in which case all of the titles and all of their issues within will be accessible through that library app. In other circumstances, you may want to just tie one specific title, in which case you can select a specific title that's going to populate the library app's content. Some companies may decide to have different library apps because we can take advantage of branding opportunities for different titles. You could have one library app for Title A and another library app for Title B. As I mentioned, we give you the capability to brand each of these to your content. Everything from the thumbnail and wording on the Apple Store all the way down to the opening of the app and different icons where your brand will load becomes branded to you as the publisher. The only non-branded part becomes the word Mstand, which is the developer of this as submitted to Apple. We also have a lot of questions coming our way in terms of being able to sell content and sell subscriptions to the solution. At the current launch of the library app, subscriptions and authentication will not be supported. Magazines has made a conscious decision to wait for Apple as an organization to better clarify what its strategies are going to be for selling subscriptions within the magazine and other content-related subscription content. Having said all of this, we are able to attach a price per download of the app should you wish to do this. As a result, you could sell your app for a one-time fee of $5. Speaking of pricing, we're going to briefly touch on the pricing for the library app itself. Each of the three different library apps offered, be it Apple, Android, or desktop, requires its own library app setup. The setup fee for the app is a one-time fee of $299 per app. Once that's been submitted and approved by the App Store, there's an ongoing monthly listing fee. This monthly listing fee ensures that we can continue to support this, including any updates such as features or bug fixes within the version of the app. So everything from version 1.0 to 1.999 will continue to be covered as the ongoing monthly fee that you pay for this app. That wraps up our review of the library app. If you have any questions, we encourage you to contact us. You can call us or you can send an email to engage@mygazines.com or helpdesk@mygazines.com. We look forward to seeing all of your content on the popular app stores of the world very soon.